Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Different Levels of Sleepy in the Anime Corner. My name is Slade. You can find me at all things at Slade Plays Games on Twitter, wherever else. Blue Sky. I have one of those. I don't know how to sign back into it, and I can't be bothered. You can find me at Slade's Life on Instagram. I'm also joined by my regular two co-hosts, Jaka and Sky. Good morning, you two.
Hello. Welcome to the Sleepy Pod.
The anime corner needs a foot on.
We're here at the Sleepy Anime Corner to talk about one of the most hype, fun, cartoonish, silly animes we watched so far, Girls Und Panzer. Jaka, you picked it. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, the energy levels we're showing today is not the expression of what this anime should have. I feel sorry, and anyone who knows the anime understands that we should be more hyped for this. I wish I had a Kenner Monster right now. Anyway, Panzer War! Woo! Okay, let's get into this. As we know, Girls and Panzer, the story takes place in a world where historical World War II era tanks are maintained for sport-style warfare competitions, also known as tankery, and large carrier ships known as academy ships carry schools to train in many things where tankery is taking place, and our main character, I believe, Miho, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that last name. For life of me, I can't right now. But Miho is from a sordid past of tankery gone bad. He tries to go to a new school where tankery has been a long forgotten school activity. But then twist of fate, hey, guess what? We're starting it back up, and we know you're from a prestigious tankery family, so guess what? You are doing this, and you have no choice. Because if you don't, the school's shutting down. Ooh. But in this, we get to meet probably the most characters we'll ever meet in an anime.
Yeah.
The funniest scenes, some of the most amazing tank battles, crisp battle sounds, to the point where I was like, did they actually record tanks for this? And some of the most on-point music and stereotypes you will ever get in an anime. And I say this as the British person. Every time I saw them drink tea, I was like, yes.
I do really appreciate that one of the British team's big points is that they stay so cool, calm, and collected, they never spill their tea. And then the battle goes wrong and they spill the tea, and it's like, well,
it's like a map scene. Yeah. I love the slow motion in that scene. Anyway, let's start with, as we know, we're not doing the episode. We're now starting our new, what would you call it, bullet point style conversation.
Yes.
I'd love to start with your initial thoughts and start with Sky.
Initial thoughts. I've watched this before with you, and it still took me by surprise. Like, the world that they live in, it's just a given that high schools are just on like giant battleships, and that's just a normal thing.
The main battleship, girl ship we watch, I looked into it, is bigger than the biggest Halo ship that mankind made in the Halo universe. Like, you know, the massive one they're in. This ship is bigger than that, and this one's the smallest one of all of the girl ships. That's how big these are. Humongous.
Like, these aren't just entire cities and like landscapes. At one point, we witnessed a river, and I couldn't see it on the overhead. They're one of the main points in episode 2 is they were fighting and defending a bridge.
Yep.
Over a river, and in every single one of the overhead shots, I could not find a bridge.
Maybe it's a really small river.
Or maybe I'm just trying to find logic in an anime.
A tank anime.
You're talking about a tank anime where they fire live rounds at each other, and the brushed off excuse is, hey, don't worry, the holes are carbon lined.
And also they explain it as the rounds are made with what's the line? Oh god, I'll find it.
I think it's the rounds are made with safety in mind.
Right? Made with but then they're firing like HE shots, and I'm like, how
Yeah, you
Although,
hear what?
No one gets hurt. There are no injuries
yeah, there
in
is
this
some.
anime.
Although they do mention when they're hanging outside of a tank to obviously get a better view of the field, they even say it's dangerous to be outside of the tank, and everyone's like, to be honest, it shouldn't be safe inside of a tank with another tank shooting at you.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah.
one thing that can really kill a tank. I don't know why why this is.
Mako is seen several times. Just not Mako. I'm Mako this morning. Miho is is seen just like standing on top of the tank as it's going, just like
Well, that's something
skateboarding it.
that's something like tank commanders are trained to do it, so they can actually get a better field of view.
Drive me closer so I can hit you them with my sword. That's for their job. What else did you think? Yeah, not just the craziness of River Search 24 as it's been this last week, to the point where we downloaded 3D models of the ship, and I was looking for this river just to shut Sky up.
I was mad.
Yeah, I was at work.
Oh,
You know,
jeez. Yeah, that was the initial impression, honestly. I mean, like, just everything that's just assumed to be part of the world. Just like, oh, yeah, for sport, these girls' teams shoot each other with tanks in mock battles. Like, it's fine. It's a given. Okay, let's move on. They live on giant warships. Okay, that's normal. Let's keep moving on.
I
Uh,
kind of like that though. The
it's
not letting you question it because they're just throwing not really too much information. I'd say it's the perfect amount of information.
right.
Mhm.
They do throw some like backstory behind it. Like, yeah, this has been done since the days of Julius Caesar. There have been school ships. I'm like, okay, it's just a given in this world.
Yep.
Yeah, so like, yeah, we must know this. This isn't like supposed to be set in our universe at all. This is like a whole new world with points you can shoot tanks at each other and survive.
Right, because I mean, you're not going to the local parking lot at Walmart and like, oh, there's a T-38 sitting over there. That's cool.
You know,
That
I
no
say
one
though,
noticed apparently.
the shops of the tankery shops that they have in their world, I wish that existed in everywhere. I would love to go to a tankery shop and just pick up a turret.
No,
It's
I
just
like the
so-
tankery shops that are the food variety
Yeah.
Oh,
because
that
they've got
was
all of the
so
tank themed
good.
food is amazing. It looks so good.
Ooh, but before we go too far into more details, Slade, initial thoughts?
So the first time I saw anything about this, I'm big on like history YouTubers, things like that, because that's like my background while I'm working noise. I'm also a bit of a nerd in that respect. First time I saw this, I was watching a YouTuber called Potential History, and he used the scene of the Porsche Tiger from this anime breaking down and catching fire to explain why it was a piece of shit tank. I saw that and I'm like, there's a tank anime? And then immediately watched it, binged 12 episodes in an afternoon, and followed by me being like, the fuck did I just watch? It's so good. There's so many little jokes, nods. I have a couple written down, such as the Yukari going and hiding in the American ship to get some
Oh,
research and information.
I
Oh,
love
The
the reconnaissance. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a joke for the movie Kelly's Heroes when she says, "Oh, I'm Private Oddball" or Sergeant Oddball or whatever. That's a joke back to an old Clint Eastwood movie.
they even
Nice.
have that film played. They're watching it on
Yeah,
telly
yeah.
to get ideas of how to fight in cities, which is a very quick. You wouldn't know it unless you knew what was going on. But they even do that later on in the film. It's like they were training using the movies of our universe to do their battles. I was like,
yeah.
that's so subtle, and if you missed it, you would never know.
There's so many little things like this, like when they're fighting, and there's another one when they're fighting the Pravda, the definitely not Russian school with little Lolly Stalin, as we're gonna call her.
Katyusha.
Yeah. They're basically like trying to wait him out through the Russian winter, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to surrender?" And the school's secretary just yells back, "Nuts," which is a actual reference to the Battle of the Bulge when the Americans were asked to surrender, and we sent the Germans a one-word response, and it just said "nuts." It's full of if you like history, it's full of little in jokes and things like that. but
All
it's
of it
such
went
a
over my head. All
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, if you're a history buff, it's a fun watch because there's going to be little nods and things like that, like the history team, history club team itself, the hippos, which until now, when I have the wiki up in my face, I didn't know the hippo was showing its butthole, which I think is really funny. Had no idea. I like that all of them are just little figures in history, like different generals. It's so many little nods, so much fun. Can we talk about Need for Speed too in this?
Oh, yeah,
Tanks
this
should
is
not move like that in some case.
yeah,
Deja vu.
drifting tanks. Although as much as obviously they have some amazing like just like as Slade was saying, perfect bits of like information about tanks
Mhm.
or warfare or history, which is funny because it's not even supposed to be our timeline, but obviously it is. But
Right.
at the same time, batshit crazy should never have happened. And that I am so gutted we didn't watch the movie as well and the Das Vanis because there are some it gets even it just bams
But it's
up a
but
notch every time. It's like, how can
yeah,
we outdo what we did that last thing? And I love it.
but the
They
thing
love it.
it's so weird because there are times like, yeah, this is actually how this tank could work. And then other times it's like, oh, here's the silly thing where we're going to use this tank as a wedge to lift this other one up. And it's
That's what I love about it. Like
yeah,
it's the perfect example of Mihal's but like as the family said, like her family is very strict, follow the rules of our house, tank
definitely
breed.
not just German. They're definitely not
Yeah,
just
definitely
German.
not German. Definitely not just Blitzkrieg. Um, but like the
Definitely
way
not.
it's as the anime goes, like you realize that Miho is very good at thinking on her feet,
Yeah.
changing plans, adapting, and that's the whole point. She can use tanks in ways people haven't thought of. Now, yet again, you should not be able to drift over 360 in a circle in a tank, slide and shoot it. That's not really a thing that can happen, especially in the tanks they're driving. Except for the Finnish one, I'll still stay to this day. Finnish tank in the movie. I wish. Can we
It's
put the music in just a second?
sure.
I
Sure.
love
Let me,
that. I hope. Can we just
let
have it
me
in
make
the
me an edit
background
note. Let
the
me make a little
entire
edit note.
time?
Yeah, the music in this show
Yeah,
is so fun.
if
So-
you've ever like national anthems at
Yeah.
sports events, you know how they just kind of like everyone sings it, and sometimes it can be like I don't know up to date this. The Euros are going on right now for football. I'm not a big football guy, but the Scottish team, like the Scottish people in Germany, sang their national anthem so loud that they could hear it outside of the stadium, quite far away. And the Germany has now put up a petition to ask for Scotland and Germany to play a friendly every year because they've had so much fun. The Scottish fans drank 3 pubs in their area dry. Like, they are having so much fun. But something about a national anthem or
Yeah.
like a theme always makes me feel like in this it like when Pravda shows up and their theme kicks in, you're like, yes.
Yeah,
The-
or when the definitely not German team shows up with all German tanks, and it's the Erica song. If God, I gotta write down Erica
It
Russian.
always
music.
reminds me of. Do you know that scene in Pacific Rim when they're showing all the Jaegers off, and then it kicks to Cherna Alpha, and they start playing this Russian type theme, and they're walking in. I was like, it fills you with this weird kind of like, yes, the Russians are here. But not just that though, but the music for the silly dances, or like they're just walking in the snow doing a little tune. Like,
So
it's just really fun. Like the music direction on this, and all the sound direction as well. Let's not forget the tank sounds, the engine sounds, the bullet ricochets, the explosions. I think they honestly must have taken real life footage sounds and recreated it because it's eerily like on point. Like to the point where like, did they shoot tanks to get that sound? Like,
One of my gripes, though, I watched the English dub and the English voice acting, especially the singing, is terrible. This,
It's out of sync. If you remember, I was telling you about this.
yeah,
It's not synced.
it's so
So-
bad. It's
In the snow and treading the ice, we can't tell what was a river or what was a road. The horse collapses, but we can't leave it behind. Everywhere we go, we're in the midst of the enemy. There's a
This should bring up the point. Obviously, Skylar watched it in English. Slade.
I watched it in English. What I would like to bring up about the singing though in English is that in the 12 episode release, it's out of sync, but in the compilation movie, they fixed it.
I think it's
Which-
because
yeah.
they must have been told they were like, fix it for the movie.
Yeah.
we got to fix it.
The other part of this would be that the voice acting gets better as it goes along. It seems very rushed, like in English, that is. It seems very rushed and it seems like they're really feeling out their characters, but by episode, it's sad that it takes this long, but 9 or 10, it's like they're finally comfortable with who they're voicing.
yeah. The
you-
voice actors were. Sorry, did you want to say?
No, but Slade, you've seen the films as well.
Yes.
Would you? Do they use the same voice actors
Yeah.
for those?
Yep.
And do
The
you-
whole.
do
It's
you
way better.
see-
Way better. Yeah.
So yeah, it must have been their first time, maybe, or
Yeah.
as
Well,
a
one
group,
of-
maybe they didn't meld very well at
No,
first.
it could be. There's some voice actresses who are of some note. I don't have the voice cast in front of me. I do know one of them. It's a voice that's hard to not recognize. It's from the freshman team. She also voices Hana Uzuki from Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. And that's just that she's the driver for that team. It's just hard to not recognize that voice when you hear it. But no, it's not like these are first time voice actresses. I don't know if they're just feeling it out or they were just kind of rolling their eyes oh, I have to do this anime about tanks. I don't know about tanks.
And do you think by the end of it they got into it? They were like, "Yeah, thanks." That's why they got better.
Yeah, it's so hype as it goes on.
It's I mean, I find myself falling into it too, but still, one of the beginning episodes had a line. It's all tanks look the same. I'm like, yep, that's me. I don't know anything.
No.
I don't know anything.
I honestly, I swear I saw Slade's eye twitch then because he can actually determine different Shermans.
It's not hard to tell the Sherman variants.
I don't know, but I did love the when the American school came in and it was all their tanks and the music playing and
Mhm.
how the commander was all in. You're like, yeah, we'll do this. I was like, I bet Slade is beaming right now. He's like, yes, this is us. We are going to we send it everything we've got all the time. We're not going to stop.
Yeah, basically, the fact that they were wiretapping into the school to know positions and everything. I'm like, yep, that's about right.
Oh my
Obviously,
gosh.
I
One of
love
my
the difference of teams they're obviously people who've been in there a lot longer.
Mhm.
Although again, can we shout out to the Italians who didn't really get a show in this? It was a 2-second you lost by. We'll do
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do it.
There's an OVA for that, by the way, for that fight. There's a. so
Oh,
you
good.
can't-
I wrote in that was why did they skip the fight? I want to see the fight.
because it's so this one fully leans into a lot of stereotypes, but the Italian team, all they basically want to do is eat pizza and pasta, and I wish I was making that up, but that's really it. I think
believe one of their battle
They
cries
lean
is
into
pasta.
stereotype. Oh
I
my god.
I think their school emblem,
Oh, the emblems. Oh.
the emblem is literally pizza.
Yeah,
It's
it
Anzo
is-
High School. The emblem is literally
It is a
pizza.
pizza, yeah. Well, the English one is a fucking tea kettle.
Let me read you the team names. We have anchovy, caprico, pepperoni, and amaretto. That's the team.
Oh, I do love it. It's so funny to me.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's I don't know. It's good, but even Saunders is very. Did they name a character Helmet Chan? They did name a character Helmet Chan. Okay, so I was looking at Saunders. Yeah, Saint Gloria is literally tea. The shark team is made up of the girls who run the boat, but that's not even until the movie. It's so wild. Do you have a favorite team that you got to see in your 12 episodes?
In the 12 episodes,
Hmm.
I gotta admit, I know I should like the English team, but It's like that bottle of water thing that keeps going around all Tuesday. Seeing
Bottle of
them drink
water.
tea and being like all prim and proper, I was like, I hope you lose. I hope you. I love the Sanders team and the original. 'Cause I can't. Is it Aurora?
Or
Is it
rye.
Oh, all
Aurora
right.
team? I do love them because I think their use of tanks and obviously how fun it is, but you cannot not love Pravda.
Yeah.
The Russian team is just too funny.
I love
Like
Katusha.
when they're waiting
Yep.
to attack and they're just dancing their jig and drinking and stuff, I'm like, they don't care at all.
Katusha
they
just gives them 3 hours to decide whether or not they want to surrender, and she eats dinner and takes a nap. That is me.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's her name? Nona is just like, you just wanted to take a nap, didn't you? You're not being merciful.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, now, what would all right, gotta be asked? What was your favorite, maybe moment or episode? Like
I,
out
I
of
want
the
to
12.
I want to shout out the American team during their fight. One of them was like, "Shoot him with your machine guns," but the machine gun isn't as cool. I'm like, yeah, I feel that.
Great use of smoke against the Americans there.
Yeah.
Like that was I loved it all. Every tank battle, I love the point of view shots from
Yeah.
the barrel itself when they're like twisting and turning, and I'm like, this is it's obviously 3D animation
Well, you
mixed
couldn't do
with
it. You'd have to do it in 3D.
no, but mixed with obviously normal animation, but not in a way that takes you out. Maybe a little bit sometimes at the angles, like you're like, whoa, the lighting's a little bit off, but it's so quick. It melds together really well. You know how some animation, you're like, wow, that 3D is really stuck out. Like, I think it was when we watched Sky. Which one was it recently? And we stopped it and we laughed for a good while because it was so bad. It was obviously clearly a drawing.
Oh, it was My Dress Up Darling. It was an early on episode.
Like when we paused it and we were like, that's like 20 different stuck pictures together, and then it's like a Scooby Doo background. What's going on? What happened in this episode? Like,
Well, this is
and then
another one of those with like good 3D in it because it blends in really well. But again, I
Oh.
don't know how you would do it without.
I think considering it's quite old as well.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously Dasvana are very new, but
Yeah.
this is like I remember this is like one of the first ones I watched because I watched Kantai Collection, Strike Witches, and then someone said, "Oh, there's a tank one as well." I was like, "Oh, another war one? Oh, I'll watch that one." But it's one of the funniest moments for me is this Mako, the sleeping girl,
Mhm.
learning
Mhm.
she has to be up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Almost like
Just
Sky right now. Like, oh my god, that is the funniest. She is shit. I quit. What?
Yeah,
It's like you can't quit. Nope, quit. Nope.
I can't get up that early this weekend. Sorry, I'm out.
yeah.
So true.
So I do
deep.
love that they woke her up by driving the tank down the neighborhood streets and firing a blank outside her window.
I like. Yeah, they fire a blank, and then they like
Wake
get
up
her.
the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, and you hear one of them yell like, "Sorry," it's a blank. Like that's
But they-
supposed to,
They finally get her in the tank, and they're making her get ready in the tank. Like, wash yourself, clean your teeth, and she's like,
See, my thing is, if I was the neighbor, I'd be going down there with my impact gun and taking one of the road wheels off. I'd be, you lose driving privileges today.
The another moment for me is it's all of episode 12. I think episode
Yep.
12 is probably one of the best endings to an anime. But specifically, I've just written in capitals mouse.
Yeah.
The giant tank that just appears out of nowhere, like the big brother, like backs up, like, "Hello, you're attacking my child."
Yep. It's also that fight also has a
good.
big win for the freshman team in the Lee tank. Just like finally taking out somebody, but they still get taken out in the end.
Hmm.
I think episodes 11 and 12 are really good. I also want to point out the like emotions of episode 6, where we find out about Mako's grandmother and everything, and We find out more also about Miho's background, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I also have this written in there very quickly. Brief explanation of why they're on a boat. Don't worry about it. Moving on. Is
That's basically
quick.
it. Yeah.
So quick.
It's like, oh yeah, this is the way it's always been.
yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
In the wiki, it was
No
written
question.
down about the OVAs. I mean, like they do go into it more in an episode. I think it's episode 3 of the OVAs about why they're on a ship and how the ship's built and stuff.
Yeah,
But
there's
someone
one.
just wrote in the anime, like when they made this anime, it was go big or go home. And when they made it where they lived, they just went, put them on a ship. Fuck it. We'll see what happens.
But no, it's quick, snappy, it's fun. I was trying to think if I have a favorite moment. Episodes 11 and 12 are obviously a big highlight. Fighting the obviously totally not Russian team was a big highlight. That whole fight scene with them. But watching them all come together, and then even like episode 10 or 11, they're still introducing new characters. This is a massive like ensemble cast. Like obviously we have our anglerfish, who's like our main group of girls in that tank, but like the amount of characters is nuts.
Well, I mean, you got to think. You could, I suppose, each tank could be a character.
Yeah,
But like as Slade knows, each tank takes a different amount of people to operate.
Mhm.
Like that's what I love as well. Like obviously, some tanks only take 3, like the Finnish team, like, and then obviously the Commanders team. Is
well
it the
they're
Turtle-
but they're
Turtle
not
team?
they're not in a tank though. They're in an APC. That's different.
Sorry, you just can tell history buff, man. The
It doesn't have a turret, Sky. So
what I
it's
love as well.
basically a self-propelled gun. No turret, self-propelled SPG rather, not APC. That's armored personnel carrier, clearly.
The teams themselves all like had their own theme.
Mhm.
Like,
Like the
obviously,
volleyball team. Like
Yeah.
volleyball team, the children team is the
The
bunny
auto-
rabbit.
The automotive club.
I
Yeah.
love the automotive club. Get the was it the
Porsche Tiger.
Porsche Tiger.
Porsche Tiger, and they're fixing it whilst it's running, and she's like, "There, you're okay." And they're like, "Are they fixing it whilst it's running?" And I'm like, "Yes, they are, because
Yep.
that's who they are." Like,
Yeah, they're
and
fixing
they're like yelling different things, like the volleyball club yelling, "Spike them, spike them!" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
it's so funny to watch their personalities like shine through everything. And then the other thing is using the Porsche Tiger's weight to destroy another bridge that we haven't even crossed yet, to destroy the bridge to make the definitely not Germans take longer to get to the city.
they did a burnout on top of the
Oh.
bridge to break it. Like, of
I
course,
thought
it's the automotive
the-
club that can figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
It stunned us though when they're like, oh, you know, they've got that big heavy tank, they're not going to get away, and they've triangled it. Is it up the hill? And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're bloody towing it. And it's like, yes, they
Yeah.
are. They're towing it. Up
Yeah,
the
they've
goddamn
cabled
hill.
it to get it up there. It's wild. The other thing is, I also have written down here, there are some inaccuracies. Like the American team has fireflies. That's a British thing. We never had that.
It may have been like, because it's weird, obviously, because we had the Churchill in their team,
Right.
which I thought was weird because we also use Shermans.
Yep.
Because you gave us Shermans, so it must be just like maybe that's where it was like home built, maybe.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah, but
because we modified the Shermans to be, but I'm guessing it was just like who
Yeah,
who
they.
had.
I
them
was
at the
like, well,
time.
that's not appropriate for the American team. Skylar, the Sherman is the American tank with the longer gun on it.
Okay, thank you.
The
I knew it was the
green
one that the Americans drove.
Yeah,
Oh, we
yeah.
did
That's all I
mention-
knew.
There's 2 different barrel sizes on the American ones. The actual Sherman should have the shorter barrel.
We should mention the paint job the girls do when they
Oh.
first get their tanks. Were
Yeah.
you actually angry at them when they did the gold and pink and stuff? Because I was like,
Gold,
camouflage.
pink, just a deep,
Camouflage,
just like a
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I
pastel
was like-
red.
Yeah, I'm like, you're trying to hide from the enemy in combat. Why are we bright gold over here? Do
Is
you want to
it-
be seen from space? What are we doing?
Yukari, which is the tank like
Best girl.
buff, and
Best girl.
she's like, she sees them all and she's just like, face is like, no, why have you done this? They were already perfect. It's like you've ruined them. Like,
Yep.
I was it episode? Is it a couple episodes after that they realized like they need to
It's after like that first match with the British. They're like, yeah, we got to
They,
repaint. Yeah,
we
we
have
have
to
to repaint.
repaint. We have to take this because they almost take it seriously as well.
Yeah.
Like, and that shows it's amazing growth in the
Mhm.
series. Like, some people are doing it just because they're told to. Other people are getting into it. Like, Mako is the only reason is there is to delete some I've been late to school things, and then the other reason,
251
yeah,
times or something like that.
Yeah.
she'll get credit, and then other people just start to do it, obviously. And the Anglerfish team's friendship is so heartwarming and wholesome. You're like, damn it, like you really want them to win. And then you think they're going to lose, even though I've seen it 4 or
Yep.
5 times now. I'm still like, oh, they could lose. I know they win. Like, I've seen this. Why am I still getting so invested into this?
Because
And again, it's because it's war.
it's also because they
It's
really
just
do a
like-
good job of portraying them as the underdogs, especially when you have such a hodgepodge of like tanks that are not great, to be honest. Especially like the American lead that they have. That's the one with the 2 guns on its guy. That's the one the freshmen are in. The Russians nicknamed that one "A Coffin for 6 Brothers" was the nickname for that one.
Oof.
Yeah, so it's not a great vehicle whatsoever, especially as tall as it is. The Japanese quote unquote medium tank uh, basically doesn't have the shots to like. That's the one the volleyball club is in, and the rounds constantly bounce off everybody. It's really weak. The only tank of note is the Panzer IV that the Angler team are in, which I really appreciate. They not only ended up doing the actual upgrades for like the barrel, but they also put the Scherzen, which is the little side plates on it in like the final fight.
Mhm.
That's
And
that's an actual thing.
And when it not only did they just put it on just for show, it actually in the show showed you how it worked. Like when the
Yeah.
other tank rams into them and it's defending them, or when it gets deflects a shot but
Yeah.
takes them off. They're not like perfect armor. They're there to deflect and take the hit instead of hitting your tracks,
Yeah.
which is so fun when you know that's what they're there for. And like, it gives you
Yeah.
that bit where it's like, oh, it's a cool visual, but if you know about it, you're like, holy! It's like when Bochi the Rock and you said they were playing tricks correctly. For
Yeah.
me, this was like, that's what would happen. Yes, like, yes. They researched this. And talking about that, I did want to say this. As I was reading Wiki, one of the guys who like worked on the show
Mhm.
worked on a bunch of other military ones. He was a military advisor, so that's why so much of this is like exactly what you'd expect. Now, obviously, not everything's perfect, but having someone who is a World War II history buff military advisor
Yeah.
must have just been like his. I can you imagine that job? Just like, what else do you want to test about tanks? Like, oh, you want a tank? I'll give you a tank. Like even the vehicles they use to drive around in their spare time. Like when the Russians are sleeping. I forget. What did you say her name was? The little one again. I can never say that.
Katushka.
Katushka's
Katusha.
sleeping. That vehicle she's in is a Russian scout vehicle, which was like built for snow drifting. And I was like, but they don't even mention it. It's just there. She's sleeping in it.
Yeah, well, it's like when in like the final fight when they're crossing another river, which will
Yeah, another river.
they're crossing another river that may or may not exist.
Well,
And-
that was on. They do their battles on actual land, though. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. It was the reason this battle's happening. The whole point is that the nationals are being held in Japan. It was the
Yeah.
agreement.
But the like binoculars that Yukari are using, those are real like military binoculars. And it's like it's just a little
Like
detail. And if you
like the range finding ones that have like
Yeah.
the really long bits.
Yeah.
On either side.
Yeah, it's one of those just like again, little details that if you don't know, you don't know, but if you do, you're like, huh. Man, it's so much fun.
really
we,
is.
Have we convinced you, Sky, to watch the DOS finals 1 through 3 now?
Oh no, I'm waiting for more to be on. We're gonna watch them as like a whole thing because we still got to do all the overs, and I'll run or rewatch the original film as well. I know it's
Yeah.
but I want to do that as well. But apparently, I forgot the man who was the So I say man, I go by just the name. I don't actually know, but the person who was the military advisor for this was also the military advisor for Strike Witches, which was like a airplane school anime.
Right.
and like that was like some of the I've got figures of them over here, and they are based on like Japanese, American planes, like Mustangs and stuff, and they are perfect to it. I'm like, this person knows their history.
Yep.
Like, and I love that. I think it's genius to pull in. What would you say your worst moment is? I think Sky has one maybe from like the second episode.
I
already.
just have words to say about it. I've got some least favorite moments, but I've got some words to say about the second episode when the trainer comes in.
Yes.
So the instructor just airdropped in on a tank
Yep.
and never used the tank.
Nope.
Well,
Only ever used it to destroy the headmaster's car. And then after their first training mission is like, just practice moving and firing every day and email me if you have any questions.
she does show
Why
up
is
again,
she
though.
here?
She does show up again. She's the referee in the last episode, and I think
But she
maybe
was-
was a bit biased.
Flown in specifically to help teach, and that's all she did.
Yep.
By
It's
the
like,
way,
hey, we're gonna get into a skirmish right away. You've never driven this thing before, but good luck.
Yeah, her instructions to start were just drive.
Drive.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the best way to learn, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, learn by
the
doing,
thing
I
you wanna
guess,
learn.
but
Oh, it's not like they're the most
figure it out
complicated
on your
thing in
own.
They're not the most complicated thing in the world to drive, if
My,
we're honest.
I've just tried to Google some Girls and Panzer stuff, and I you know, like your saved search history.
Oh no.
7 in a row is Girls and Panzer ship, Girls and Panzer. Where is the goddamn river? Girls and where is it? Just this. That's how long I've been researching it. It's saved my search history for this damn river.
You're welcome.
What? So you have a couple other little things about it?
Well, like,
Yeah.
they elect Miho for her knowledge
Mhm.
and just overall skill with using tanks and knowing things about actual battles because she's been in them before. And none of them really ever keep listening to her.
Nope.
Like the student council group is just like, yeah, let's just fire. And Miho's just like, stop. And they don't. And then they get blown up because they're not listening. Which, like, I mean, to me is nice because it's like I'm mad about it, and then they're actually getting, punished for it. But I've got in so many episode notes here fighting Russia, just like they're not listening to Miho. Why? Like,
I think though that shows like it's because you got to remember they're not military trained people. They're all doing this. Some of them are volleyball team. They're just doing it because their volleyball team was gone. And then some of them are like school. Maybe because
but they just get so emotional.
The reason she's like
and stop
'cause you gotta
listening.
remember, the president team didn't tell anyone the school was closing down for what?
The other thing,
9 episodes.
Guy, I think I have a reason why they weren't listening to Miho. She hadn't done the encore dance in front of him yet.
That's it. That's what it is.
That's it. You got to bring the group together by doing the fish dance.
That dance, when that dance
It's
happened,
so
were you all
weird.
just for a moment just like, this took a turn. Just really took a turn of a moment. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like,
But then like they're while they're holed up, surrounded by Russia, and that's how she rallies the troops. Is the fish dance. I mean, that is a wholesome moment, but the voice
I have
acting
a
in
lot
that
of editing notes for adding music back to this, and the encore dance has now made it back into the editing.
I
note.
wish if we did if we ever have like in the future YouTube one, I want to edit a YouTube video of just all the dancing, like just us talking about it, like in like some Vietnam flashback, because it is the weirdest stuff.
I'm sure there's a 10-hour cut
Well,
of
there's
just the
100%.
dance
Oh,
on
100%.
YouTube.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's the same
I'm
as
pretty
like
sure it was done live. I know that's happened. I've seen a GIF of a truck driving to promote it, and it was just a bunch of girls dressed as the anglerfish dancing, and I was like, "That's the scene you chose. You didn't get a tank to drive around. That was the
like,
girls
hey,
dancing and singing."
Can we borrow a Panzer IV for a little while and draw an anglerfish on it?
You know what? If they just looked around their country, they might have found one. Oh,
Sky,
we
do you have
didn't
any other?
explain the hide and seek as well.
It's just kind of like a world building thing that just I face palmed both times that I've watched it. It's when the shopkeepers are just like excited that their places of business are getting demolished during these fights because they fight in just actual cities that people use and live in. They get excited because apparently there's an insurance payout because it's related
Well,
to education
it's
or
the
something.
nationals. Yeah, so like
Yeah.
if your business accidentally gets hit during it, I think it is like slightly explains like you get the payout of that happening because you're hosting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of
Which
like
if
it's like the
Japan's
opposite
hosting
of
it,
the
why
of the
was
Cabbage Man in Avatar.
Right?
Instead of yelling and getting upset, they're like, "Yes!"
Hit my store next was a line that was said.
Yeah, yeah.
I
One of the guys
swear.
was like, "You're so lucky."
You know,
Yeah.
I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I
What?
know the Cabbage Man. I
You
know
got
that. I know that. I've
you?
not watched.
Nope,
I've
nope. Come
never
back,
watched
come
it
back,
all.
come back, come back, come back.
Yeah, you're walking away from that. No,
I know, I've
you're
not
Nope,
watched
nope,
calling
nope,
you
nope,
out.
nope, nope, nope. Come back
No,
here.
I've not watched it. I've not watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. No.
I know what we're doing.
Okay, great. This guy's
No,
changed.
the reason I've
Fine.
not seen it is because it wasn't really popular here. Like not many people talked about it. Maybe I was just a bit missed that era when it came out.
I
But
do
the
forget that you're 85 years old sometimes,
yeah,
so you
thanks.
might have missed the.
But the I know about Cabbage Man. I know everyone knows the Cabbage Man. I also know that song, Secret Tunnel,
Mhm.
and the really sad song he sings about
Yep.
the
Leaves from the vine.
tree. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. I know that. And also, I know that the live action film is the worst pile of crap that's ever been made.
You ever seen the Attack on Titan live action? It's also
No,
just shit.
you remember the Chun Li movie?
Yeah.
We're going off topic, but oh my god.
Okay, let's get back into Girls and Panzer because you distracted us by saying you've not watched Avatar, and we got it, Sky. We have to fix that.
We need to
No,
remedy this.
No,
Okay.
no,
Yep.
don't you dare. No, it's too many episodes. It's not 12. Ha.
It doesn't have to be for this. It
I
doesn't
like
have
the
to be
I
for
like the
this.
idea. This guy's like, we're gonna watch book one, and I'll be like, hey, we're gonna watch book two.
No. No.
It's so good.
I'll make
though.
you watch One Piece.
It's so good.
I'm still working on it. I'm on episode 300 something, I think.
Nah, Slade
No,
would never watch One Piece.
You made it further. You made it further than I did. So
So, Slade, you haven't said any bad bits? Any bits you like?
there's a couple, and it is something that I feel like doesn't belong in here, and it's fan service. I
Yeah.
don't think it's not like the fan service to the history nuts. Yes, to your history buffs, to your tank nerds, that kind of fan service. When they're like, "Oh, can I be Guderian?" That yes, have that yes. But when the school vice president, whose character is busty, but they have her out there in the only one in a bikini washing the tank.
But then
It's not really necessary. I see Yukari back there, you pervert. And it's not really necessary to me, at least. I don't think it really belongs. Like I get, if we were watching like a romance anime, I could get a little fan service in in that aspect, but in this, it just doesn't seem like it actually has a purpose or a place.
Yeah, a bit outside the norm. Although they do have the typical bath scene.
Yeah,
like
there
all
is.
animes has a Japanese bath scene. For some reason.
Yeah, they're all in the bath though together. It's like one of these massive ones, but I
Bonding one, yeah.
I didn't really class that, but some stuff to do with the school's vice president and a couple other characters. I'm like, we didn't need to do that. This has no place in this kind of
I
in the
was
show.
the only real thing I was like, it doesn't need to be so intense. Is the granny yelling? She's like always yelling, like as loud
Yep.
as possible, and I'm like, this isn't. I know she's been ill and stuff, and she's just trying to stop Marco's like,
Olo.
worrying about her, but it's like you don't need to be yelling to the point where you're waving your cane at her like you're going to hit her. I was like, this is not fun. Like, but then it kind of makes
Yeah.
up from the last episode where she looks at her and she hits her heart like, don't do this. She starts doing a dance like I'm fine, and it's like it was such a weird moment that just cut in. I was like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think, but those are my two big things on it. or one big thing, I guess. It's just very unnecessary.
Did you ever work out was it a monocle or glasses though?
No, I didn't. So the school's secretary, uh, I can't tell if it's a monocle or not because you only ever see like the bottom frame of the glass, and it goes to and over the nose, but then there's nothing on the other eye.
I think it is that she has hair covering it. Maybe that's why.
No, she doesn't.
I thought she did.
No.
No, it's just like a pair of glasses.
You
but with
do
one
not have a
side
figure
just
of her
missing.
as well. You do not. Do not look at the shelf.
No, I have, but I'm just making sure.
You do not have a figure of her.
If that's the sister Germany team, or if that's the secretary. So it's a bunch of strike witches are mixed in, and there's Kantai as well. So I've got to look through all of them.
Even here, and I'll post this here, but you can take a look at her character. But it's like I can't tell if it's Momo we're talking about, or Momo-chan as she is affectionately called, but hates. I almost posted that to the wrong group chat. That would have been funny. All right, there you go. If you take a look at her character, like I just can't tell in the design.
I would say that's a monocle.
Would you? Because monocle shouldn't go over the nose like that. But it also changes sides. That's the other thing.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know if
They
it's.
just forget to draw the other half. Like,
There's times it'll be on the right side. There's times it'll be on the left. It's typically
you can
on.
get those as monocles,
Yeah.
but it is a weird design, like half a pair of glasses.
Yeah. But even if you go to the wiki, there's so much detail in so many characters. Like even as big as the cast is, the fact that they all have something about them.
Yeah, they've all got their own personality. They're not just blank sheets, like like just background characters that are there. They like.
Yeah.
What I love as well is
They're
how
each
when
very
they
distinct.
say when they get hit and they're like, "Is everyone okay?" and they each yell like, "Good, doing good," like to make sure they're all okay. Like I thought it was quite genius. Like the Waltons going to bed like night. I was like, they're all sounding off to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, it's like when like the rabbit team, because there's 6 of them, when they're sounding off that they're all okay, it takes a good chunk of time, and you're like, okay, thank you, all right, glad you're all right.
The just what would you say is your favorite bit though? I mean, I love the tank battles. I think it's some of my favorite in all the anime they've done. I think the tank battles are just some of my favorite stuff to watch.
Yeah,
like I'm happy, it's fun, but I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if I didn't like enjoy the camaraderie and the silliness in it as well. I think it gives it a bit more weight.
Yeah, I think the camaraderie would be my favorite bit. It's not actually the fights; it's the camaraderie between the girls, because I think that actually makes the fights more impactful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Sky?
Oh yeah, for sure. Honestly, the fact that they grow as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, like it does really give into that underdog story, and it just the overarching, just like they all come together to meet this goal. That's yes.
Yeah.
That is one of the most fun parts of it. Yeah.
A funny moment I forgot to mention, like during the last episodes when they get more and more tanks because they obviously need to, because they're vastly outnumbered all the time.
Yeah.
And when they're going against the Germany team, they've got ridiculous amount of tanks, and they find 2 more tanks. And one of the teams is a bunch of 3 girls who play online tank games.
Yeah. They're obviously playing World of Tanks. They just
World of Tanks, and
they
don't know each other by or what they look like, but only by their tag names. And they're like, "Oh, you're them. I miss it." I was like, "Oh, this is like my actual life." Like when you hear someone's name for real life, you're like, "Oh wow, your name's not that." Oh. Sorry, wait, you're Ben?
Yeah, there's also like points in the show, and we can talk a bit too, because obviously this show's full of spoilers. But the DOS finals, they add even more tanks to the Ori team, and like one of them is so original names for tanks was land ships, was what they originally called, and they ended up finding a original British Mark V to add to their team. It's the big rhomboid shaped one from World War One. And the crew for it is the girls who run and maintain the ship.
That's
and one of them's in the wrapping, and it's like the weirdest thing, but it again brings all these different unique personalities back to all the different characters.
I love almost how the tanks and the people who run them have that, like, they link the personalities to them.
Yep.
I know, like the Spike the volleyball team, like they weren't very good, so they got shut down. So their tank doesn't shoot very well.
Yes.
It's not very powerful. And the history team, the hippo team, have a tank that's a clearly an assault tank because they're all about go
Well,
shoot.
yeah. I mean, well, it's an SPG. It's a self-propelled gun.
And it's
You
just
know.
that's what I love about it. It's like they're
Yeah.
like when they hide in the snow and they've obviously clearly like buried it in, like they would love, like that's like a hidden tactic maneuver because they're constantly talking about battles and like when they've got the flags on their tank
Yep.
and they hide in the flags of and like it's like camouflaged perfectly using their horrendous paint job somehow.
Yep.
And the little maneuvers that they all kind of work out, I think is pretty. Watching each team like evolve, and it's just you got to remember these aren't like a whole episode based on each team as well. They're these small little snippets that show that they've listened. Like Sky was saying, they don't listen to her ever, but then over time they do, and you're like, they've finally listened to the person who
Right.
knows about tankery. Like,
Yeah. And it's
Cohesive, finally becoming a cohesive team. Yeah.
right. And that's why I think it's more of a I would say that Angler Team is our like that's our main characters, but it is more of an ensemble cast than just them.
if you've not seen the show, and obviously we've spoiled a lot for it, you should watch this. Even if you're not like you're like, oh, is it a slice of life? It's just there's no way to explain it. It's just fun. Like I never at one point was bored. Like I was just having fun with it. Like this, it's
Yeah.
quick, it's funny, it's a bit wholesome. It's I find the tank things fun. I always do, but the fact that it's like history in there, it's an all round like. So would you? I mean, would you recommend this to people? Like, if they were, oh, I'm bored. What should I watch next? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, the newest animes are out, but this is always on my list of have you seen this?
Yeah, this is one though I feel it's somewhat hard to recommend because it's also hard to explain. Like
Right.
I think it's an easy pitch for somebody like me or Jaka because you're like, hey, Slade, you like history, you love tanks,
You like anime?
you like anime. Have you
Well,
watched
as we
Girls and
said-
Panzer? I think that's an easy pitch. I think this is a versus like Bochi to Rock. Everybody universally likes music. That's an easy one to people have social anxieties. That's an
Yeah.
easy pitch. Cosplay is bigger than ever. My dress up, darling. That's an easy pitch.
Yeah, Girls and Panzer just you have to go in with the expectation that you don't need to think really hard. As if you start thinking really hard about
that's
like
a
why
good very one, yeah.
just why are they
Turn
on
your
these
brain
massive
up.
ships?
Right.
Don't question it. Just enjoy the ride.
So for me,
Yeah.
it would be more of a question of Sky. How would you somebody who's not, I guess, in the tanks and everything? What was? Yeah, obviously, we're like, hey, we're watching this for the podcast, so yes, you have to watch it.
Right.
But what would the pitch be to somebody like you who this wouldn't be on their like to-do list?
I mean, honestly, just because it's so silly, but it's also the story, like the main character Miho, kind of coming into her own,
Mhm.
and both getting new friends, overcoming adversity within her family, showing her family that she is worthy of attention, or just in general, like.
Right.
Because her family treats her terribly, treats her like an outcast, but she finally comes into her own and makes her own version of tankery. Like it's almost like a coming of age story of a really weird premise of a show, but it's still a really fun watch. The music's great, the animation's a bit all over the place. The English dub's not amazing, but it's still really fun, and it's a hard pitch
It
because
is.
again, it's yeah, that's about how I'd go about it though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's this is not a easy like.
I don't know, because when I've suggested to Sky before. I was like, I know you're not really into.
It's
I remember
really
saying
silly.
like, I was like, you like silly anime. I know you like isekai and these kind of like OP type, like I think they call them mappers and stuff. But when I suggested you, was like, this is an anime I love. I think you'll like it. It's warfare, but school life. It's just silly though. I always start with, if you want a bit of fun, this is a great anime.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good way to
like-
pitch it too.
like, if someone's looking for like a turn my brain off and just enjoy the ride type anime, I always suggest this. Like, it's in my
Ye-
top 10, easy.
Yeah, I just think this is one of the harder pitches for an anime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This-
A
I
hard
think this
pitch,
one-
but
yeah.
once you're in, like, they'll want to watch it all. That's the thing as well. And the best thing is, because now it's years and years later, there's a lot to watch
Right.
and play. There's a game out on the Switch you can play. There's on the
Yeah.
PC.
They
World of
have it in World of
Tanks.
Tanks. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can play as the Ori girls. You can even get all the stuff for their Panzer IV, which is really cool.
Figures.
Yeah, there's
Lego.
figures. I about to say I have a figure over there.
The biggest thing I'd say about this is, like, if you have ever watched stuff like this, if you know Girls and Panzer and you haven't, and you want to watch other stuff, Strike Witches, Kantai Collection, Azur Lane, Fleet Academy. There's a lot out there of war. Now, I would say people who've watched one probably know about the others. Blue Steel, there's another one. Like, I would say there's a good warfare anime community almost
Yeah,
out there, which is a little weird. Like, it's like a separate side of anime. But I would say, if you're thinking, oh, I'm not really into like those kind of things, give it a try. It's like I wasn't into, like, when Slade suggested Dress Up Darling, I was like, oh, it's not really something I'd watch, and it was brilliant.
Yep.
I was like, absolute. It's a little bit. I was like, ooh, it's a little bit risky. Ooh, what's going on here? But then I was like, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
It's like One Piece. Like, if you're not into pirates, why would you watch it?
right.
But Slade, you gave it a try, and you were like, it's not for me. But you watched, was it 100?
I got
Sweet.
100 episodes. Couldn't
That's-
stand the voice casting anymore. It was like nails on a chalkboard.
Wait, were
Didn't
you
like any
watching
of the
English one?
characters. Yeah,
Oh God,
I think Luffy's Japanese is worse. So no,
I don't know.
It's nails on a chalkboard. Awful. I can't do it.
Sky's been watching Demon Slayer.
Yeah, it's awful too.
And I've not watched it because I hate some of the characters. And Sky's like, oh no, they're gone. So we
Yeah.
watched an episode recently. Guess who's back? The one episode we watched, guess who's back in there? So I was like, are you kidding me? I had to mute it. I was like, I can't take it. The guy's voice is like sandpaper on my ears. I just can't do it.
That's Luffy for me in English and in Japanese. It is sandpaper on my eardrums. But now that we're getting sidetracked, which means it's time to wrap up, let's do two things. Let's get some recommend, do not recommend. I know 2 recommends. I'm more interested to hear what Sky has to say about it. And then what are we watching next time?
Ooh, I think that one's on me.
It
It's my turn to choose.
It is.
I
So
probably should have reminded you.
I've got
completely-
Avatar,
got
The
2
Last
ideas.
Airbender.
3 ideas.
So let's do our recommendations real quick before we get out of here, because I'm a solid yes. You should watch it. It's fun. It's goofy. It never lets down at any point. It's always fun.
100% recommend it. I chose it.
And Sky, like I said, you're the one I'm more interested to hear about, because I feel like this is also, again, we've thrown you into something. It's not, I didn't get isekai'd back into 1943 and as a tank commander, so.
Oh my god.
Right.
I
I need longer episode titles and longer series titles.
Usually when I talk about isekai into like inanimate objects, I'm like, that's stupid, but I would watch one about becoming a tank.
Yeah, you'll be a Roomba first.
I would watch that. I want to know how that works. To this day, that anime's out there.
Honestly, it's even though I'm not a historical buff or a history buff nor a tank aficionado, I think just because it's such a silly anime, it's got some like wild premise. So you got to like wrap your head around that. But once you get past that, it's really fun, and I would say I'd recommend it.
All right, so that's 3 solid recommendations. Sky, what are we watching next month?
I'm gonna throw a wrench into our regularly scheduled uh, uh, choices. I'm gonna throw a movie in.
Ooh.
I'm gonna throw a movie into the mix. I want y'all to watch Redline.
It's finally here.
Red line, we're watching it.
You can't
All
hide
right.
from it anymore, Slade. You gotta watch it now.
I know. We'll watch it. Well, that's fine. And when it comes back to my turn, I'm like, all right, we're gonna watch Girls und Panzer Das Final Part 1.
Yeah.
Hey,
For every avatar you watch a Girls and Panzer, this is gonna happen.
Well, the problem, everybody said Attack on Titan was milking it at the end, but we're up to Girls und Panzer Das Final Part 5 at the moment, plus a movie. So.
You know what?
It really is milking it.
Give me more. Give me more. I'll take it. More tank battles. I don't see enough. Like the before we do go though, have you been watching any new anime?
I started watching Konosuba Season 3. It's really funny. It's fun. I've been a little busy at the moment, and there's a reason why we're recording this kind of early, because normally we record these near the end of the month for that episode. But you two were very gracious, and we are basically recording 2 weeks back to back, which I appreciate. But the big thing is next Saturday, so I haven't had much time because I've been doing a lot of preparation work. Yeah, y'all know what it is. Actually, this will come out after that, so I guess I can give a little insight to my personal life because it'll probably be seen by now. I'm proposing to my girlfriend next Saturday. Hopefully she says yes. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm
in
gonna
the
do.
house, right? She didn't just hear that behind her.
No.
Head
She's
out the door,
no. Her sister's visiting, so she's with her family right now. She's not here.
Fair enough.
That's the other reason I'm recording this early.
Congratulations.
Because if she was still asleep, she'd be in here hitting me like, "Shut up!"
it's too early on a Sunday.
Because it's weird because it's in the future. Either do we say congratulations or do we say good luck? I don't know what to say. I wish that the ultimate thing that you wish to happen happens.
Well, thank you very much. I hope it does too.
I know what Sky's been watching, except for I know you've watched a couple without me, but if you haven't watched Kaiju number 8, you have to watch Kaiju number 8.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so good. The action sequences alone. I mean, the story it's wild.
Is it Mappa doing the animation for Kaiju?
Yep. I believe so.
It's so good.
They also did campfire cooking in Another World, I didn't realize they made that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also a Mappa production.
What?
I saw the beer can turn in the thing and it said Mappa. I went, what?
If you follow him on YouTube, you'll actually see like some behind the scenes drawings that Mappa does.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But
I'm interested.
I will say one thing about
so good.
I will say one thing about it. It's amazing, and I want to see more of it all the time. But blue balls every week. God damn it! I just keep release them all, you bastards.
This is like when y'all were watching Solo Leveling, and I was like, "Oh, you mean Solo Edging?" And
It's a cliffhanger every episode. I swear.
I understand why they do it because it makes you want to watch it more. But
we didn't say it, but Girls und Panzer, if you were watching this weekly, it actually does a really good job of like leaving you hanging a lot. Like when the credits roll.
That's why we like them. Maybe that's it. We have to be left hanging.
Yeah,
we're bingers because we've waited for it to come out. Usually.
Yeah. All right.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I watched all of Campfire Cooking at work today.
Oh my gosh!
I watched it today.
I was watching this at work while I was doing some paperwork, like filling out some forms, and one of my technicians like walked into my office, just looked at my phone, and he goes, "No, I'm not going to ask it." Just walked off. I'm like, "All right." Well,
I was watching the Campfire Cooking whilst eating food, and the guy came to collect my tray, and he sat down next to me and went, "Yo, that food looks good, man." I was like, "Mate, if you've not seen this anime," and he was like, "That's an anime." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Look good though, didn't it?" And he was like, "Oh, it looks delicious." And he was a chef. But I see something else as well. Obviously, this will be out after, but happy 4th of July to all the Americans out there. Congratulations, traitors.
You're voting on July 4th.
If it's thing as well, yeah, we get to vote in
it's
England.
so funny.
During
It's so
Independence
funny.
Day.
Did you know?
Weird.
Did you know Jaka, that England is the most celebrated country in the world?
Yeah, we give out all the Independence Days.
Yeah, you gave out all the Independence Days for everybody.
Hey, you wouldn't have them if it wasn't for us. Remember that. Remember that when you shit talk us all the time.
I've got all my memes ready for 4th of July. Don't worry. I have all my anti-British memes.
I'm gonna stay out. I'm staying out of this goddamn chat when that happens. I know it's
I will say too, ending episode memes. You did recognize at the end of Girls and Panzer the Evangelion reference at the end.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like
that has been
Why?
me.
that's all I could think about when they were all clapping, saying congratulations.
Yeah.
It's
The last episode.
as much as I love Evangelion, it did not help itself.
Argu-
Apparently they've gone bankrupt as well.
The studio is shutting down.
Yep. So sad.
Also,
Like-
arguably, Girls and Panzer, you could call it a mech anime.
I suppose you
You could argue for it to be a
Annoying.
mech. I feel like Sky's annoyed with this thought. You could argue. You could argue it's a mech anime. They are piloting sometimes fairly large machines.
Oh, honestly, the animation on the tanks sometimes does give them like actual personality, which I did really enjoy in that last episode too.
Yeah. Or like just watching the treads go, like the actual like tread go around all the different road wheels, and you see like the Pravda team that sticks out for animation. I should have brought this up. For the Russian tanks, their treads are always really loose, and watching them like jump up and down and bounce a bit, I'm like, yeah, that's actually correct. Okay, good job paying attention.
One other thing about this anime and the studio, they released a lot of the music on you can buy CDs, vinyls, it's on Spotify. There's a lot of music throughout all the films and stuff, and honest to God, I listened to the Finnish one whilst driving my car, and I drive like a madman when that's on.
Yeah, but we're talking.
It fills me with joy.
I do have an editing note, so if you didn't hear it, hopefully you do. The music will be put
The
in.
outro. Ooh, which music would you outro though, of all the songs?
You'll have to wait.
so many
You're gonna have to
songs.
wait to hear it. You're gonna have to wait to hear it.
If it's that goddamn song from the Fast and Furious, I'll be so mad.
No, it's the one from Initial D. The
but like I say, obviously you can see my energy levels have gone up since we've been recording. I love this anime.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
good.
I think it's such a good. Obviously, one we've wanted to do for a while.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it. I think
War
like
one,
every
wasn't it?
episode. To be honest, I think we've mentioned it every episode.
Have I
So
only
let's-
picked war anime?
Yes.
Girls and Oh god, I did back to back girls and something.
Let's wrap up and get out of here. Would you two like to give your plugs where people can find you on the internet? What I don't know. Whoever wants to go first.
UK Jaka, pretty much anywhere. Come hang out. We're probably be playing Helldivers. If not, Steam Summer Sale going on right now. It's probably be done by then. But let us know what you picked up. I just spent 50 quid today alone. That's $64 I've spent this morning. Don't buy when you're sleepy. You just start clicking.
I'll take that advice. And you can find me at Skylar_Bun on Twitter.
All right.
If you want
find me,
if you want like reposted cute stuff, that's basically all I do.
it's a good pickup in your feed when you're scrolling. You can find me at all things at Slade Plays Games. Yeah. You can find me at all things at Slade Plays Games, except Instagram. That's Slade's Life. You can also find us, or me at least, on the regularly scheduled Game Club Pod. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Let's go.
Congratulations.
Let's get out of here. Can we get a good Panzer Vor from you? More energetic this time.
Panzer Vor! I should have grabbed the figure. Oh. I've never shown you these tiny mini
Craig's still here. Is the episode still?